raise their hand, how you go about outreaching to them in that customer journey. Historically, it was just like dial, and then dial some more. And now it's changed, right? Now it's like, hey, you got to dial, you got to send a text message, shoot out an email, have some messaging. Maybe you send out a second text message with a video. AI is coming into play where now there's kind of chat bots. I think the evolution of how you purchase media and how you outbound or omni-channel outreach, really is the word, have come together.
This is the Snowball Effect. You're listening to the Marketing Playbook series, presented by the Snowball Effect podcast. It's growth done right.
Hey, this is Todd, and welcome to the Snowball Effect. This is the Marketing Playbook series, and I've got a returning guest, Ruben Ugarte. Welcome to the podcast, Ruben.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Todd.
Hey, you're only the second person that I've had back on my podcast twice. So that's a big honor, I guess.
That's awesome. Thank you for having me.
I think you and I bumped into each other. It's actually been a while, but I think it was at Inner Solar, and you're the only person that I know. I was sitting there working, at the booth. I have my laptop out, and you bust out your laptop, and you're the only person I know, Ruben, that has as many stickers on your laptop, if not more than me. You can see them right here.
I can see. I was going to say something. I love stickers. I get stickers, and I'm like, ooh, and then right away I put it on the laptop. And it's funny, like if you're at a coffee shop or like with you, I saw your stickers and you saw my stickers, and we're like, oh man, you're like me. It's like kind of like a sticker thing.
That's right. It was like, when I drive around in my Jeep and you do the little Jeep wave and you're like, I'm in a club. Hey, I just want to hear, what's new in your life? What's new at ActiveProspect?
Man, well, one, thank you for having me. Shout out to the Snowball team. You guys were a big part of our solar summit. So thank you for sponsoring that. ActiveProspect is going great. We're flourishing. We had the best year that we've ever had in home services. We continue to grow. Our portfolio is now over 200 home service brands, of which about 70, 80% of them are installation companies. Nice. Roofing, bath, windows, flooring is a big vertical this year. We are staying on top of the FCC one-to-one consent. We have a new product called Trusted Form Verify that is helping support that new compliance check. And in terms of myself, my son is 12 years old. Shout out to Joaquin, son. Hey, because I'm going to make you watch this webinar like I do with all of them.
Hey, look, dad's on a podcast. You got to.
You know what? It's the only thing where he'll stop and be like, "Oh, you're on the internet. Let me see what's going on here." Like my dog Biscuit, he's doing great.
Love it.
I'm getting ready for the holidays. I'm excited. It's a holiday season coming around, and I'm blessed. I'm healthy, and life is good.
I got to say, our team, saw you down there at RE Plus at your summit event. And I got to say, RE Plus was really slow for us this year, except your event. Oh. Your event made it for us.
I love hearing that.
Thank you. From the marketing side, RE Plus was reinvigorated from your event.
Shout out to the ActiveProspect team, the marketing team, the leadership, everybody who supported that event, all the sponsors, including yourself, all the speakers. That event, that to me was like what it's about, right? You have this massive solar conference that marketers don't have a place to go. And we created a space where buyers, sellers, MarTech, speakers, people came together. They got good food, they got good education, they got networking, and people left with gift bags. And so thank you for saying that. And we are going to do it again next year. And I'm excited, man. So thank you.
So fantastic. Well, speaking about leads, I've got somebody like you, Ruben. You're up to your eyeballs in lead gen. I mean, you've been in home service for a long, long time. In fact, I'll put a link to our previous conversation in there, and we touched on it lightly there. But I mean, you've got a background in roofing, and now here you are on the lead gen side. Walk me through a little bit of that journey.
Yeah. So I kind of come from construction roots. So I've been here, I'll go from current day. So I've been general manager here at ActiveProspect for the last several years, was in sales. When I got here to ActiveProspect in 2019, the brand had kind of some legacy brands like ADT, Empire Today, some solar companies, but really the company wanted to grow into home services. It's been a great 5.5 years, almost 6 years, which is wild. Prior to that, I was an actual client of ActiveProspect for 5 years. From 2014 to 2019, I used the technology that I sell today as a user, as an installer. I worked for a really large residential solar company called Horizon Solar Power that was doing installations in California and Nevada. They were one of Sunrun's largest dealers before Sunrun went direct sales. And I was part of 30, 40 people who kind of grew the company to 1,000. The company was a $150 million brand doing 600 installs a month. The company got sold to private equity in 2016, again in 2019. And I was part of a rocket ship. You go from 20, 30, 40, 50 sales, and you're like, let's get to 100. Then it's like, let's get to 200. And then a couple of years go by, and you're like at 500. And then it's like, how do we get to like 700? And so these numbers are just wild. And just imagine the staff, right? The call center, the operations, the trucks, the panels, like all that, just like, and so being part of that environment really has helped with my role now, which, as you know, home services, I mean, it's on a crescendo of attention with private equity focused on roofing companies, HVAC companies, bath companies. And that really kind of helped prepare for what I'm doing today. To working in solar, residential solar, as a lead buyer, I used to run their call center and used to do media purchasing. And I would buy about $1 million in leads from about 50 different sources. So anywhere from 10 to 20,000 leads a month would go to these 80 agents that were in the call center. So I have experience in that realm. Prior to doing that, I sold residential and small commercial solar for a company called RGS Energy, Real Good Solar. Shout out to Real Good Solar alumni. They're everywhere. And I did that for about 2.5 years. And then prior to that, my family owns a roofing company called A&R Roofing, which is in Glendale, Burbank, Pasadena region here in Southern California. And I sold residential roofing, metal roofs, flat roofs, standing seam, which is my favorite roof. And that's kind of how I got into solar. People who I was selling roofs to were like, do you have solar too? Because we want to throw solar. And back then, this is 2008, 2009, there was still like Edison rebates, utility rebates. There was local city rebates and like, all these incentives that really persuaded tax or cash heavy people to invest in solar power. So somehow I cultivated from selling roofs and getting on a ladder and selling roofs to in MarTech to roofing companies and home service companies alike.
So you talk to these home service companies. You talk to you're rubbing shoulders with other MarTech companies. What are some of the challenges that you see all the time right now in the home service industry in regards to lead gen?
I think the challenges that we're seeing are, I think the big one, I kind of touched on it, is there's this big rule from the Federal Communications FCC, basically focused on what's called one-to-one consent, where historically people would go to a website, they'd fill out a form, and then that form would then sell that information to 1, 2, 3, 4 different people. And to some degree, if you were buying what's called non-exclusive leads, you were having your competitors kind of subsidize your marketing costs. That's going away. I know you're familiar, coming from the Best Company era. You guys didn't do that. You guys were exclusive. But I think that's a big challenge. People are going to see a drop in lead volume, but they hopefully should see an increase in quality. So I think compliance, I think the challenges of technology and MarTech and brands who now are incentivized by this new private equity attention are going, man, if I really get my ship in order and I can do 10, 20, $30 million, I could cash out. And there wasn't as many options to do that if you were an installation brand previously. A lot of home service brands, as you probably know, were like legacy, where it's like the grandfather passed it on to the father, and then the father is trying to get his children. And there really hasn't been, I was reading a report, there really hasn't been a lot of transition from one era to another. And so now private equity is coming in and taking over. But in terms of challenges, I would say that the big piece that we're seeing is the ability for brands to stay competitive in their markets at a cost that makes sense, which is kind of always the trick. Digital marketing is going up. Everyone's doing it. So that's driving things up. We are seeing more brands hire agencies than ever before and having support there. think a lot of companies used to run their own digital ads and kind of do that internally. People are bringing in experts. As much as I think things are changing, they're still somewhat the same. And I think brands are continuing to figure out how to hire and how to bring in experts. Home service brands are notorious for just like promoting the person who stays around the longest. Like, hey, you're the sales guy. You did great in sales. Why don't you take over the call center? Or, you know what, you're great in customer service. Do you want to go and be an admin over here? And so that historically was the case. Now, home service brands that are growing are bringing in experts from other verticals, financial services, insurance, CPG, and they're bringing in people who are experts in their fields, whether it's a CTO, whether it's a data analyst, whether it's a director of a call center. I feel more and more home service brands are bringing in experts to help run the business and not just promoting someone internally, which, could be a good thing too, but that's what I'm seeing.
That actually resonates with me, or it's consistent with the types of things I see in the marketing world. Is just this era of, in the marketing world, really, specialization. As far as ActiveProspect, help articulate where exactly does ActiveProspect fit in there, and what challenges, problems does it really solve?
Yeah, so ActiveProspect is a middleware. It's a software as a service. We are a platform that sits in front of the CRM, so in front of Salesforce, Lead Perfection, all these different CRMs that are out there. What we do is we sit as a protective layer, and we act as a digital underwriter. So when you're buying data from either third parties, your own website, your Google ads, wherever, even field marketing, you can essentially put all that information in real time into our platform. And in real time, our technology will check for duplicates, bad phone numbers, out of area, compliance, fraud, bots, all these different checks and balances that historically brands would just do after the fact via their call center labor by outbounding. And so our technology creates a lot of value by helping to improve the quality of the data that brands are bringing in. It helps to, one, improve quality because you're removing the bottom 10 to 15% of junk that you probably shouldn't be buying. Two, the theory is better quality leads in, better conversions out. In theory, right? You put better leads into your call center, you should lead to better results out. And then three, we have a compliance component called Trusted Form, which is now considered like the gold standard for TCPA, verification, consent, documentation. You can now buy a lead and know exactly where it came from, when, who, what, the domain, the IP, the geo, all that stuff. And I think that changes the game if you're a buyer, especially the ones who are spending so much money. I talked to a massive bath company that spends like $1.5 million, and they had never heard of real-time rejection. They had never heard of the ability to detect duplicates and to do litigator scrubs. So there's a lot of room for growth. And I feel like we're just scratching the surface of market share in the home service sector.
So you deal with a lot of lead buyers. You deal with a lot of integrations and different CRMs. Yeah. In the lead gen space and in the lead purchasing space, Ruben, walk me through. I mean, you've been in this for a while. Yeah. How has that evolved?
Man, that's a great question. The reason I think in terms of lead gen overall, I think it's a good thing. It's going continue and evolve. More consumers going online. The younger the demographic goes, the more that they're going to go online. I think how we capture their attention and how we installation brands or as brands who are purchasing either third party or whether you're getting the eyeball on your own website or Facebook, I think that the change is really coming in the ability to omni-channel. And when you consume someone's information and they dial and then dial some more, and now it's changed, right? Now it's like, hey, you got to dial, you got to send a text message, shoot out an email, have some messaging. Maybe you send out a second text message with a video. AI is coming into play where now there's kind of chat bots. I think the evolution of how you purchase media and how you outbound or omni-channel outreach really is the word have come there. And back in the day, it was kind of like you just dial, you buy and you dial. And now there's this whole array of things you need to know. And along with that, you have to have connectivity. So when you buy a lead in real time, it has to go through our system, filter, compliance checks. Once you know you're buying the lead, it's going into your CRM. It's also going to your SMS provider. Maybe it's going to your finance portal for pre-qualification. Most companies who are large now have dialers that have sequencing built in. People are doing lead scoring. There's agent scoring. So when a lead comes in, the propensity of the lead based on the demographics will go to certain agents based in the call center. And then once it goes to them, that agent then has lead scoring on the sales rep, which sales rep has the highest propensity to close based on the demographics. So there's all this like tech that you can use in creating like a wireframe where everything works together. I think that's the cool part about MarTech and lead gen. And it's just kind of everything coming together. And then you throw AI on top of that. I think it's going to be an amazing future for brands who embrace MarTech, embrace lead gen, embrace compliance. And going back to what I said before, hiring experts to bring all this stuff together, because you need high level people to make sure this thing all works.
There's a lot of interconnectivity.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me that then having some regular hygiene on that data that you bring in is more valuable than ever, because it's going to be leveraged in so many ways, through SMS campaigns, through retargeting campaigns, through, being prioritized for certain SDRs or AEs.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense that you want to make sure that you're not pushing a lot of crap through the funnel, right?
Huge. The compression of time, the compression of staff time, it's all revenue, right? It's the cost of time and the ability to compress all that at different stages of the business, whether it's at the lead level, dialer level, sales person, once it's sold. There's all these techs that are coming in the home service space, and I think it's wonderful.
What role do you see AI playing in this lead gen, in this lead buying world?
I actually did a panel on this at Lead Gen World earlier this year. I think one big play is in the call center and the ability to have more starter conversations with AI technology, where then the human kind of comes in after the fact. So that's big. The ability to text. There's some technologies we work with out there, channel automation, Hatch, that have AI chatbots that use them. And I'm like, man, this thing's great. Like, I'm trying to throw it off, and it has empathy in it, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. I think there's that. I was at the Pantheon Service Titan thing that I mentioned, and there's a company out there that a lot of home service brands are using called Rilla that records the salesperson when they're in the home. Then it takes all that salesperson data, kind of like a Gong. I don't know if you guys use Gong. It's like
Very
a Gong,
familiar with it.
and we use Gong here, which I think Gong is awesome. And it records what your salesperson is saying to the homeowner. And then as a sales VP, now you're collecting all of the demos in a database. And back in the day, you had to go do a ride along. Hey, I'm going to go do a ride along. Your sales are low. I'm going to do a ride along. Or your sales are up. I'm going to do a ride along to figure out what you're doing. Now it's all there. And now you can start to coach on the fly. And so I think that's another big thing. I think AI still has a ways to go and how it's applicable. But hey, man, I use AI when I'm doing LinkedIn posts sometimes, or when I'm trying to put together an agenda for a meeting. And so I use it, and compression of time, there's value there. And so I think we're still all learning how to use it. And I think brands are still figuring out how to take advantage of it for sure.
That's exactly what I see, Ruben, is it just really carves out more time. Yeah. It's a bit of an investment at first to kind of figure it out. Like you, I get in there, I deal with AI tools all day. And it was funny that you were talking about that you were writing, what was it? You were writing something up or it was writing for you, and it like expressed empathy.
Yeah.
And a funny story, I was on my commute home, and I downloaded the new, I think it was the Pi app, just PI.
Yep.
And it's really targeted for just voice interaction.
Yeah.
And so literally I like put my phone there on my dash and I just start having a conversation with it. And then pretty soon I'm asking it, career advice. I'm asking it, okay, what are some, some ideas for birthday presents?
Did I put
and
money
it
on the
was
Lakers?
yeah, I started having, you've probably seen the movie Her with Scarlett Johansson and Joaquin Phoenix. I started having like these, wow, this is the best listener I've ever talked to. So there's times when it gives you a little bit of that, uncanny feeling, But then you see all these opportunities for time savings. If we can carve out a lot of the stuff we don't like to do and have AI help us out with that, I think it just creates more opportunity for more of a person-to-person connection than ever
I
before.
agree. I agree. I'm always the guy in the conversation when it comes about technology and people being like, man, I don't know, the robots are going to take over AI, this and that. I'm always the guy who like, but yeah, there's going to be negatives, but there's going to be way more positives. And I just feel that way about tech. I feel just like when Google search came out when I was a little kid and everybody was like, oh, that's terrible. You're no longer going to go to the library and all this stuff. That's not true. This has evolved and created so much business. Similar to text messaging. I remember being in a call center and being like, should we text people? Like, do people like that? Is that okay? Is that like a little too personal? Now it's like people only respond to text messages. So I
That's
think
right.
with everything that comes around, there's always this like, no, 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 that's bad. It's going to change this. But I think it's a great thing. I think for every job we lose, we're going to produce 3 more. And I'm excited for all the things that AI, robotic technology in general that's coming, so I'm excited. I think it's a new world.
I'm right there with you. And one thing that we really lean into here at Snowball, and I want to get your opinion on, is in this world where we're so connected and AI is analyzing and crafting different messages for different personas. I think there's a growing space for some of that human contact. And it's what we're really leaning into because of, we're a referral based company. And it's all about, hey, these are people that you're going to mention somebody's name, and then you're going to say, okay, here's an installer you should use, or
Yep.
here's a plumber you should use. I'm curious about, as you kind of look down the road and into the future, this swell of technology that impacts marketing, as well as kind of this almost this callback to word of mouth marketing. How do you see those two playing together in your view?
Man, nothing will ever beat word of mouth. That's what I love about the Snowball team. I love that about what you guys do. We obviously have mutual customers that rave about what you do. So I keep an ear. Nothing will beat raving fans, right? Raving customers who are fanatic about what you've given them, the service, the tech. I don't think anything will ever beat that. There's a lot of brands that I come across who their whole business, 80% of it is referrals. And so their cost of acquisition is so low that they can't fathom going out there and buying leads and doing all this stuff that we do. But I think with the rise of referral technology like your platform, a place for everything. And I think it's like it's like art. You have to have the right chops, so to speak, the right capability, the right tech, your referral channel, in your outbound third party affiliate channel, in your field marketing channel, right? There's phenomenal technology for field marketers. I think every channel has uniqueness about it, but at the same time, it's all the same because you're trying to reach out to the customer, either pulling or pushing. And I think when you have a balanced portfolio and you can go up and down based on the seasonality, I think that's what it's about. And having the right tech, the right people to have a balanced portfolio, so to speak, of marketing channels. But I think it's great. Referrals are phenomenal, and it's all localized, getting contractors that are local or repair people. That's never going to go away. People want to find people locally because it's fast and it's quick and it's local. And so I think that continues to be something that people want.
That makes a lot of sense. I think especially in the home service industry where you're inviting someone into your home, right?
And there's opportunity for local brands. I live in about an hour east of Los Angeles in the foothills, Claremont, Rancho Cucamonga, San Dimas area. There's brands who just focus on here in this region, and they got their trucks wrapped. I see billboards. I see the newspaper clipping thing when I get it before I throw it in the trash when I get my mail. And they have a brand awareness that's specific to this region, and that works for them. And I think for local brands that will always persist, I talked earlier about private equity coming in and brands growing, trying to grow national brands historically in home services that didn't exist. You have ADT, Terminex. There's very few names that you can say on the East Coast and the West Coast that people know. I think over time that's going to change, but nevertheless, I still think it's going to be hyper local.
Anything else as you look down the road in the home service industry, Ruben?
I think in home services, there's just, like I mentioned before, a lot of opportunity for legacy brands who have their house in order from the P&L standpoint, from the EBITDA standpoint, if they have the right employment contracts, if they have a good marketing funnel, they have a good operations team, there is opportunity than never before to connect with private equity companies and potentially choose partners, investment partners, to help your business grow. I told this to my uncle the other day. My uncle and my uncle's, my roofing family, they're like maybe $3.5–4 million. They never think about selling, but as time goes on, you can't roof forever. And a lot of times family businesses don't have another generation to pass it on to. And if they do, maybe that generation's, trying to become an engineer, work for Facebook, and they're not trying to do roofs or whatever. So I just feel that this is an opportune time for owners who are out there to really get their house in order over the next 5 years, because the investors are there and opportunity. There's paths that have never been out there before. And I'm seeing all types of people take advantage, brands who are putting together HVAC kind of conglomerates. They're not building national brands with one hub and then kind of growing region by region, which is historically how people did it. Now it's like, hey, we're going to buy Washington. We're going to focus in Texas. We're going to get a brand in Chicago. And so now they have these satellites. And so I just think it's a lot of great opportunity ahead for owners. And I'm excited. And I would just say that's an exciting time for not just the installers, but for all the marketing partners like me and you who support these brands.
That's great. Ruben, it's always fun to chat, and you didn't disappoint today. All the way from, hey, home service owners, here's some things to, look out for coming down the road, to, how we're, navigating the world of MarTech and lead gen, all the way from that to your selection of stickers on your laptop. You just never disappoint. So,
Thank you.
So thanks so much for joining the podcast
Thank
today.
you. I mean, he certainly enjoyed it, right?
There's Biscuit.
There's Biscuit right there. He's stoked about home services.
He's riveted.
Man,
he is
thank
just
you for
riveted
having
on
me.
this.
Thank you for having me. I love your podcast. I love what you guys are doing. Shout out to Alex and Landon and the entire team. And thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Oh, it's been great having you here. If somebody wants to keep this conversation going, they want to explore how they can actually improve their lead gen, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can get a hold of me at Ruben, RUBEN, at ActiveProspect.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Ruben Ugarte, Solar Junkie. I'm sure you'll have some of the info there. I also have a website, rubenugarte.io. But yeah, either via email or on LinkedIn. Excited to help anyone who's interested in learning more about what we do and how we can help brands.
Ruben, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
As always, super fun to talk.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me. See you later.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time on The Snowball Effect. This has been the Marketing Playbook series. We'll see you later.